Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Can you say your name for the mic?
Simon, hello.
Simon. You're looking at me cautiously. We're sat
obviously, yeah.
We're sat on a bench. You've got your bicycle in front of you, up on a stand. You had a book in your hand.
Yeah.
I have interrupted you. What was on your mind as
I was reading a book, so I was thinking, who's this coming to interrupt my book reading? But no, that wasn't really. I was just reading the book. I was deep into the book, so it's a really good, fun book. So
what's the book?
It. Well, it's not actually published yet, I don't think. So, actually, maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Oh, blimey.
It might be out. It might be out.
Is it your book?
It's been loaned to me.
Right.
So I'm reading it.
Okay. This speaks of connections. If it's been loaned to you and it's not published, then you must know the person who wrote it.
Probably is about to be out, or probably is out. I don't know the author, sadly, but my friend who gave me the book does know the author.
This is all very mysterious. So, are you going to review it?
No.
This is
I'm
pleasure.
just a fan of the books. It's a series of books.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know the books that have come beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
This is unfair that you get the preview.
No, it's extremely fair, I think. And it's right and proper. Because I've been waiting too long, because when you've discovered a series of books and then and the first 5 are already out, you can read those like boom, and then you have to wait because the poor guy's got to sit there and write the things,
So
you have to wait a couple of years between each book.
Is this a page turner kind of thing, or is it
very
cerebral,
much.
challenging?
Oh, it's not too cerebral. It's very funny.
Nice.
It's satirical, I would say, but it's couched in a crime sort of genre. But it's actually about. I would say it's about how shit life can be and the systems that rule us.
So there's a dark edge to it, or dark basis to it.
Definitely, yeah.
Does that correspond to your understanding of how the world works?
Good question. Probably. I'm not. Yeah. I think so to a certain extent. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't buy into a lot of stuff, but I think there's a lot of dark stuff that goes on. Yeah, definitely.
So you've come to a bench, you've come to a public place in the outside. It's still warm enough to be outside.
Yeah.
It's fairly pleasant today. It's not quite warm, but it's not quite
Not
cold.
bad for October, is it?
Is this a standard exercise for you in the day?
Yeah, I think so. I normally walk. I was biking today because I have further to go in the first place. But I normally walk with a book. Yeah, I often read. I often get stopped. In fact, on this very track, I'm actually on the other side. I just walk with my head down in a book, and people often say, "What are you doing?"
Mind the gate.
Yeah, exactly. But I actually like it. I actually find I like. I like to do stuff on the move. I think it goes into your body a bit better than just sitting.
That's interesting. Walking and reading, it is unusual, but it keeps the blood flowing.
Yeah, you're sort of killing a few birds with one stone, I guess. You're getting your 10,000 steps in, and hopefully, massaging a bit of the grey matter as well. So, yeah.
What else takes up your since you've woken up today? What has been on your mind? What are the ideas? What are the problem solving? What's been thought about?
Okay,
today?
I'll be honest. I've been having a bit of a clean up, actually, to be honest. Just one of those sort of things where you just think, well, it needs to be doing. I'm not sort of working at the moment, so my partner is, so she's out a lot. So I'm thinking, I just want to make the place look good. So I'm doing a lot of that. And
literally
gardening.
clearing up?
Literally, really boring shit, but actually, again, it's quite a zen way of, I find, of clearing the brain and sort of getting rid of a lot of noise.
So, the way you've described your life at the moment, it sounds like you have the ability to choose what you do on a daily basis.
Oh, yes, to a certain extent. I would say that's probably true, yeah.
The other half hasn't got a list for you?
No, we don't work like that, no. No. Because my list for her would be just too massive. No, that's unfair. No, I mean, I'm joking, of course. No, I mean, at the moment, I'm not game. Well, I sort of am, but I'm waiting to go work again. So I'm free. So I'm sort of free to do what I want.
What does it feel like?
To do that? To be that?
Yeah. Because it's
Well,
unusual.
it depends. It's been my way of life of my whole life. So it is unusual. It is unusual, I suppose. But it's only what most self-employed people do, isn't it? I suppose.
It's a life that you've chosen.
Yeah. Very much so.
So,
Yeah. So actually, it's to answer your question. It's some days yeah. Sometimes it can be a bit difficult's the wrong word. You know, trying to create sort of meaning, I suppose, in what's going on.
there was somebody else I spoke to this for this podcast a little while back, and he said there is a point and there is an importance to not feeling you have to do anything and actually just existing instead of feeling you have to achieve, which is kind of what modern society keeps drumming into us.
Yeah.
You have to achieve, you have to reach goals, you have to, think about what you've done at the end of the day. But
Yeah, no, I agree.
what's your view on that?
Well, I agree with that. I think that there is, but I'm not saying I'm good at it. But that is true. It's a kind of an art form, isn't it? To say it's okay to be to not kind of do anything, but just to sit in. Well, I wouldn't call this nature, but it's natural. And to breathe clean air and to do nothing is. It's a bit of an art form, I think, actually, and I think a lot of people, and I would include myself in that, would feel I should be doing something, especially when you're at home. If you're away, you're away, so the gloves are off and you can feel quite. But if you're in the home environment, you're thinking, well, I should be doing a few press-ups, or I should be,
Cleaning the windows,
finishing bloody Crime and Punishment, which is still next to my bed, 3/4 done, And all of that sort of stuff. You should be improving something to do with yourself.
what is it that puts us in that frame of mind? Because I have exactly the same feeling, but I kid myself. At the end of the day, I say I kind of bend the rules and I go, well, I went to a calf and I had a bit of a cycle, and so I tick off things which are not very significant as significant. Do you do that?
I think to a certain degree I do, but it depends on your interpretation of the word significant, doesn't it, really?
Yes.
I mean, it could be, to another person, it
Eating
could be
3
very
meals
significant that they've made a bike ride or they've had a walk.
Yeah, true.
It's actually, they might be agoraphobic.
Yes, and having 3 meals a day might be significant for somebody.
Exactly,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, totally. I mean,
Keeping the wheels on.
keeping the wheels on. Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate in the sense that I can afford to do this in my line of work and get paid enough to mean that you can be free for a month or something and not have to do anything. And so in that time, so you enrich yourself, I suppose, that's the pressure I find, which could be either physically or mentally or spiritually, which I suppose is a mixture of the two.
So if you have a period of non-work, do you sometimes get to the end of it and go, oh, I should have done more with that period of non-work?
Oh, yeah,
because I had it.
Probably, yeah.
And now I don't have any more because I've got to work.
Yeah, to a certain extent. But that's always going to be an ongoing thing until I drop dead. There's always going to be those periods. So if anything I feel like I didn't achieve in that period off, I'll try and maybe stick it. If I'm really feeling that bad about it, I'll stick it into the next period as things to do.
Is it easier working?
It's easy to.
In terms of what we're talking about? Like once you're locked into work, you don't have to think.
Yes. Easier. Yes. I suppose easier again. Is that the right word? It is what it is. Your ass is in their sling to a certain extent. I suppose it is easier. Yeah. I think you can feel less. You won't give yourself not that I give myself a hard time, but if you won't give yourself such a hard time for not achieving something or feeling that you haven't achieved something in the day or in the week or for reading that book or writing that poem or drawing that sketch or whatever it is that you're thinking. Should be doing that or writing that, song.
There is something that is oft said to me by younger creators who I speak to, who say that if you go freelance, away from working for the man and doing your
Mm.
own thing, you just replace one stress with another, and that stress is making it work and worrying about it. And so, very few people I've spoken to in this situation, in the creative world, talk about it as true freedom. They just talk about it as a different kind of stress.
Talk about what is true freedom.
Not being
freelance,
freelance, not being tied into a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
do-
well, it's
doing
kind of
things
what,
on your
that's
own
what
time.
we've just been talking about, really, isn't it? I suppose, to a certain extent, that's what we've just been saying. Yeah,
Have you ever done a 9 to 5, or have you always done
No.
your own? No,
No.
blimey.
What do you mean, blimey? I mean, a lot of people haven't done 9 to 5. So Gilbert and George haven't done 9 to 5.
What was the first job you ever did, or that you earned money for?
I think working in a pub when I was about 15.
Well,
So I
that's
wasn't allowed to
kind-
serve, but I would go and change the barrels, things like that. It wasn't 9 to 5,
No, true.
and I was
True,
15.
True, but it kind of fits into a standard job spec, in a way.
Yeah, I suppose was that the first job. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What
maybe.
do you remember it? Do you remember it's good times?
I do actually remember it as good fun, and I just remember the smell more than anything else, which I loved, of that yeasty, cool it in the deep delved earth, as somebody once wrote, of that cool cellar with barrels and just that amazing, that smell of young beer. But it's not, doesn't smell like beer when I can't really describe it. It's one of those things, when smell does that thing to you, where you go back in time.
Yes,
suddenly.
smells are very
It's more evocative, I
strong
think, than
trigger.
any other.
I think you're probably right,
trigger.
yeah.
I think it hits you in the back. And I remember being in the States and smelling a smell there, and then years later smelling that same smell. It was probably something ridiculous, like a cleaning agent or something. But there was something, and I just went back into where I was in the States. Totally.
Yeah, it's
I don't know what
interesting
the
how
word for
smell
that
does
is.
that, because it does. It immediately hits your brain.
Totally. Yeah. You taste, it's like, Proust, isn't it? That sort of smell and taste. It's that you hit the Madeleine and then you go, and you're back in your childhood sort of thing.
Do you say Proust?
Yeah, Marcel Proust, yes.
What was his take on it?
Well, and that's the famous thing in A la Recherche, not that I've read. And again, that's one of the things I should be doing right now instead of talking to you. Is reading A la Recherche de Tom Perdu in the original French, or whatever many volumes it is, probably 10 or something.
So this is a well-known. I'm unfamiliar with
Proust.
this.
Oh well, the famous thing about Proust, in as much as I know, is that the central character, who I think is basically autobiographical, bites into a Madeleine early on in one of the books, and it sends him in a reverie, a sort of Joycean sort of reverie of going back into his remembering.
Aha.
Recherche,
So
remembrance of times past.
it is the point of the book that everyone remembers because it's the start
Yeah,
of.
it's the archetypical Proustian moment, is that thing of something in the present taking you right back.
When you worked in a pub back in the day, there would also be the smell of cigarettes.
There
Because
would
it
have
was
been.
when we all smoked in
Yeah,
pubs.
I mean, I'm making this job in the pub sound like a big thing. It was like it was my dad's local, my mum and dad's local, but more my dad's local, and Fred, who ran it, just said you come and do that and change the barrels every now and then. It wasn't like I was there a lot. But at that age, I was actually probably sucking on a tab or two. So I don't smoke now, but I did then actually, because it's what you did in the 70s.
Well, when you worked there, I bet you told all your mates about it, and you
No.
would no,
No, I mean it
Why
wasn't
not?
like
because I would be so proud about working in the pub age 15. Because I mean, like I'm there.
Yeah, but
I'm in the pub.
if I was pulling pints and actually serving drinks and being able to get drinks for my mates,
Then you would.
Then I would, but I wasn't because I was underage, so I couldn't really. I could be in the pub, and I could do, wipe tables.
At that point in your life, what were you thinking you were going to do?
What I do now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's impressive.
lucky.
Well, the obvious next question is, what do you do?
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Unless you're a contract killer, why not? You're raising your eyebrows.
I really can't say anything about that. I'd rather not get into that.
Give a hint of
It's
what
in
it
the
is.
creative area.
It's in the creative area.
Yeah.
Is it words?
Words are involved.
So there's
I'm just trying to think of a job without words involved.
there's a
But I'm a
huge.
mime artist, I suppose.
I was
but
gonna say there's gonna be this huge blank space.
I don't know.
For your life.
No, I mean, yeah, I interpret words. Let's put it like that.
Right. You're an actor.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, it's just like, yeah.
Well, what's wrong with being an actor?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I love it, but I just kind of don't like talking about it.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, well, we don't have to talk about it,
No.
but it kind of.
But,
It
but the
fueled-
important point was that I did know then that that's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
Why?
Why or how?
Why? Why did you
Why
want to
did
be
I
an
know?
actor?
Oh, why did
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to be an actor?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why.
Were you good at it from an early? Was it just success
It was
that
just
made you
something
think
that-
I can
that-
do this?
Well, it's the only thing that I think that I did that made any sense and gave me any sense of. I just thought, yeah, I can do this. I can do this, and I had. I mean, I thought I when I got into it, I got into it because of the words, yeah, from Shakespeare and other writers that I liked, and then suddenly seeing stuff and being thrilled by it in a way that I mean, cinema as well, but theatre obviously massively, yeah, and kind of being so excited by it and just thinking, yeah, I can. I just felt I could do it, and that's what I did. And it's really that's what I mean. I don't like to talk about it because it comes out like shit. but that's it. And I actually knew from way before I was working in the pub. Actually, I think secretly deep down I knew that.
What did your parents think? Because it's the kind of thing where parents might go, "Can you get another job
Well,
too?"
do you know what? Bless them, and they never did that. They never got on my back. They could see that was what I wanted and what I was focused on completely in doing.
Brilliant.
And,
Well, that's great for you.
Well,
You
actually,
got
my
that
dad
support.
had wanted to be an actor, but his father had told him no.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, I hadn't told him though, but I think
It was
had-
made obvious.
Well, no, because his father was an entertainer, was a very, very famous musician who was, and my dad wanted to get into it but didn't.
So it's
because
in the blood. Your grandfather, your paternal grandfather,
Performing,
was
yeah.
a performer.
Mhm.
Was the home life that you grew up in, was it a performing kind of household? Did you
No,
sing
not really.
songs and do charades and
I did a bit of.
fill a room with a soliloquy?
I would never do that on people, but I mean, unless it was, in the rehearsal room or in the show. No, but there would be a certain amount of. No, there wasn't. No, it wasn't. We didn't have a piano and all that kind of stuff and sit around and play charades and shit like that. No, we didn't. I mean, I did that with other people, but but no, it wasn't particularly. No, it was quite an ordinary, sort of family life. With when the parties were thrown, there might a few routines might come out. Yeah. I think my dad. I hope my dad. He's no longer with us, but I hope he got a vicarious
Pleasure out of
pleasure
watching his
out
son.
of it, and thinking, hopefully thinking, yeah, he can sort of get away with this. So, but being, maybe it might work, and obviously, the life of an actor is very. It's like that. You're
and down.
above and below the line. You're you're in the black, and then you're in the red, sort of thing. And when you're in the red, they never went, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to, they never said, well, what about something else? They never ever said that. And I actually, I wrote them a letter many years later, sort of thing. After I'd sort of become, I'll use the word established for want of a better word. But when I was making a living, I wrote them a letter saying thank you, for that, for not, in that kind of stereotypical way of the parents going, go get a bloody job, sort of thing. They never did that. Not really. They never really did that. Then because they could see that was what I was going to do. Yeah.
So the life of working or not working, working or not working. That's been your life all the time.
That's the, I bought the ticket, so.
And you love the work, obviously,
Love the
because you're
work,
still
yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
Do
You
you?
make me
And,
sound like I'm 80.
but
You're still doing it.
But I'm assuming.
Well done.
But I'm assuming from the age of 15 to the age that you are now, whatever
Yes.
it is, you have to go through a series of different kinds of roles because you have to
Yeah.
live the roles that you,
Oh, God,
you
yeah.
have. So the roles you're doing now, you couldn't have done 20 years ago, possibly.
Oh, right, yeah. But that's the great thing about it I think any kind of, again, I'm not going to use the word artist because that just sounds too highfalutin for an actor. But anybody who, an interpreter, I call myself more than, because I don't write, I have written.
Have
I
you been
don't write.
tempted to write? And
I have in the past, and it just sounds like, everything I sounds like somebody else because of I like that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But I
So
haven't
it's
really,
hard
to
to
be
find
honest.
your-
But that, I'd love to get on it in a way, but in a way, obviously, I don't love to do that enough because I haven't. So I prefer to receive. I love working with words, with something else that somebody's written, and maybe helping to knock it into shape, just not in a kind of superior way, but in a sort of, well, let's read this and see if it sounds good or makes sense, and then just have your suggestions because you have your own instincts and you try and think about the character and you think, well, yeah, they might not say that, they might go that way, so you can help developing it. I love doing that, developing with a group of people or with the writer.
So it's not so. So it's quite it's not an individual thing that you do when you read a script, and it's not your subjective approach to it, but you're part of a group interpretation of what goes on.
In some contexts, yes, but oftentimes, you're sent a script to audition for something or to send a tape in for something, and that's it. You do your best with what you got until you have to, it's like you use your imagination and your whatever, and come up with something to grab the attention, so it doesn't just fly out the window like everybody else. But a lot of the times, for instance, I'll be going to work on a new play at maybe the Soho Theatre or sometimes the National. And you get a group together and they read it, and then then they have a big chat about, well, that's what works, what doesn't work, sort of thing, and that's really good.
Because you're all on stage together, so you all have to.
Well, you might not actually be doing a show. You might just be doing the work as a process to help the writer. So you're probably not even getting paid to do it. It's just what you're good at. So you enjoy doing it. The sun's come out.
Yes,
Lovely.
the sun has come out. You can turn towards it like a sunflower.
Yeah,
Great.
We are like heliotropes. Yeah.
The business of performing, which most people who listen to this and most people in life will be unfamiliar with, and would rather jump into a big sea rather than perform, because it's not for everyone. Is it a bit like being an athlete that you go to performance level and you have to pull it out of the bag on the night, or does it sometimes, if you're having a long run, does it just become muscle memory?
Well, you're talking about theatre now.
Yeah, talk about theatre.
Okay, so I've never done a long run in theatre because I hate that. I think the idea. I remember Richard Todd. Do you know Richard Todd? No, he was lovely. He was in things like the Dam Busters films, things like that. He was in a show in London for something like 12 years.
Oh my goodness.
He's just
Oh my
Jesus
goodness.
Christ. Doing something like the Mousetrap, which do you know the Mousetrap?
Yeah,
which
I've heard.
is famously,
Famously,
and
is
it's
the
great fun. The Mousetrap. I thoroughly recommend to go and see it. You do that, you're contracted for a year, so you're doing it for a year. And
Right.
I think, essentially, for me, the idea of a play is you work on it for 4, if you're lucky, 5 weeks, or if it's something a bit gnarly like Shakespeare, then maybe 6, 7 weeks to rehearse it, and then you play for maybe. 3 months tops, I think, is the longest I've done. I've done tours, which are, but that's always interesting because you're in a different space every week and different crowd, different people all around the
So
country.
it kind of
sort thing.
it refreshes it each time.
Yeah,
because it's not-
yeah, definitely, and you're hopefully having a bit of fun on the road, as well, and learning hopefully. a bit.
But I'm assuming that in terms of just any time in which you're performing and the you have to step out on the stage and do your work. That there's a way in which you have to give it your all. You can't just go through the motion on stage
I
because
don't think you can, because I think people will spot it, and sort of, again, I'm not sure sincerity is the right word, but authenticity. I don't know. I mean, you're trying to be as natural and real as you can.
But that's hard on an off day when you've got a cold
Oh, I
and you've
see.
had a row with
Well,
the
it's
other
a couple
half.
of Sudafed normally see you through. Doctor Theatre.
Is that what it's called?
Well, amongst other things. I mean, people have their own ways of doing this. You
You have to do it. I'm just assuming you have to do it through gritted teeth at certain points.
Well,
For health
sometimes
reasons
you've
or
literally
otherwise?
lost your. I mean, I remember, doing shows we have to sing, and you've got no voice because it's that time of the year, and everybody's got colds, and then suddenly you're having to belt out some sort of song. I mean, I'm not a particularly brilliant singer anyway, but things like that have happened. So you just, you dose yourself up with everything you can. So yeah, there's ways to. But no, I mean, psychologically, every night, yes, you need to get into a little space to sort of. Get on with it. You can't go on. I mean, I can't go on automatic. Maybe there are people who can, but it's the same with filming as well. Although filming is slightly different, obviously, because you never rehearse pretty much. You just learn it, and so it's really live and in the moment, which is why I think a lot of film looks like that.
That's interesting.
in the moment.
Okay, so for some reason I thought filming would be a much more tied down process and tightly controlled, but you're saying there's actually much more kind of winging it.
All I'm saying, well, to a certain extent. I mean, you do the work at home. What you rarely get on screen work is 3 or 4 weeks in a room with the cast,
Right.
going through the story, questioning it, finding it. You generally you have to do all that work at home on your own. Learn the words so you know them backwards, and then get on the set, and then oftentimes you'll have imagined one thing in your mind. And then you get set and it's completely throws you into, physically you've got you thought, oh, well, we'll be in a big room and then you'll find you're in a, 3-yard corridor and you've got to completely change how you'd seen the scene, as it were, how you'd envisaged the scene. And so you have to work on that. Yeah, you just sort of react to your environment, which sounds mystical, and it's not really. You just sort of, as long as you know the words, or you're ready to go away from the words as well, because you know what needs to be achieved in the scene. You can, a lot of directors like saying, okay, you've done that with what was written, now let's just do it in your own whatever, sort of improv.
The confidence you have after many years as an actor must mean that you're actually able.
Banging on about how many years.
But I mean, your first year as an actor is very different from your whatever year you're in now.
Yeah.
And that confidence must mean that you can probably walk out on any stage, inhabit any part, and just feel comfortable about.
Not feeling comfortable necessarily always, but no.
I mean, imagine being a teacher going out for your first class versus your 500th class.
Oh my God.
As a teacher, you would probably go through the same process. But is there ever a time when you kind of you're really stumped and you have to work hard now as an actor, or does it all just flow?
Well, I think to be stumped I'd have to go and do something, because mainly I work from text-based stuff, so you get a script and you work on that script, and I think I'm pretty good at pulling apart what a script is saying, well, working out what is actually happening, what people are saying, and what's not being said. That's the most important thing. So for me, anything like that, anything that's text-based, I would be fine with. I think if we moved into, which is why I keep thinking I should do something like a Commedia workshop or something like that. Then I would be out of my comfort zone. And I think a lot of actors say, "Oh, it took me out of my comfort zone. It was brilliant." And and I think it's true. I think that can be true, But it's like anything, isn't it? Any walk of life, you could be, with all due respect to anybody, you could be a plumber who's got a brilliant array of skills and goes in and sees something he's never seen before, and he'll work it out, or she'll work it out, and just kind of go, And it's the same sort of thing. It's problem solving, acting, really. The problem is you've got a scene to deliver or a play to deliver. And that's the problem. Solve it. I mean, it's there's loads of wank about acting, and which is, I just think it's a problem. It's difficult sometimes because it's about stuff we wouldn't really like to talk about, like sex, death, politics, whatever. Things that scare you, things that turn you on, things which are often very private, and you often have to bring that out into the workplace, as it were, and say, what's making this work as and then also be aware of the story that you're telling as well. Make it all kind of gel together. That's the problem.
You're kind of bringing meaning. You can't be meaningless. I'm trying to think of a better word, but you can't be mundane on stage. There's an intensity to whatever you're doing.
Well, I mean, the mundanity might be the very thing that is. I'm trying to think of an example. Sure, that is being explored.
Waiting for Godot.
Well, Waiting for Godot, yes, to a certain extent. That is
famous play about nothing.
Well,
says the layman. I don't know what it's about.
The famously the review said it's a play about. It's a play where nothing happens twice. But yes, I mean that's genius bit of a writer exploring. Why are we here? The games we play. You're playing a game now by coming and asking me. You're creating something out of a completely. You could have walked by, but you asked me to do this thing, and I'm happy to say yes. And something has happened out of it, sort of thing. So that's what Waiting for Godot's kind of about. What have we got? Nothing. Well, let's make something happen, Otherwise, what are we? Profound pause.
Edit point. We could end it there. But I did want to ask you one other thing, which was...
Let's keep chatting. When you're back, let's
there's 101 ways to be an actor. Like there's 101 ways to be anything.
Yes, of course.
For you, what are the things which you always keep at the front of your mind? What are the tools of your trade which are always you're nimble with and you think are important to keep ready to draw on? Oh, first. That's the first firework I've heard this year.
Always
in the middle of the day.
What are the tools? Rhythm, I would say, is one of the top things. Rhythm.
Rhythm of speech.
Rhythm.
Just rhythm.
Physical, verbal. Yeah. I think you find a lot of meaning out of getting. If you get the rhythm right, then the meaning becomes apparent.
But it's
the way you say a line, if you say it with the wrong rhythm, it'll mean nothing. If you say it with the right rhythm, it'll mean everything. Sort of thing. And that I really believe that. I mean, that me being slightly wanky now, but I think that keep the funny box open. That's another one.
So humour's always important.
I think even in the darkest, I think in the darkest, blackest places, if there's a nugget of. And by humour, I mean something that is... Now, what was I watching the other day? And I thought, this is brilliantly dark and painful, but I'm laughing because it's... And I think the humour is when you get it right, when it's like when you read a great book and you go, I know that. I know that feeling. And it makes you smile.
Because you can nod.
It's a recognition of the human condition, he said. Loftily, but it is that. That's what great writing is. Great music is. It's great art is that you could look at a picture and you'll go, oh my God, yeah, I feel that. And I'm now. It's the classic thing, and that's why it's important. Is you're feeling you're not alone. It's like the addicts kind of thing. It's like you go to NA or wherever and you go, I think it's not just me, or you just see something. It's not just me on whatever level it is. Whether it's something that could be harmful to you, or whether it's something that's completely joyful for you, but you think, maybe I'm the only person who ever thought that, and you see somebody else express that, and you go, brilliant, and you feel connected.
But there's also amount of lived life that you have to bring to it. I mean, you have to enjoy life, appreciate it, explore it, to have all of those things you're talking about. You can't do it from a blank page. Like, as an actor, you have to be interested continuously in the human condition.
Yeah, and you watch people, and you from something as simple as how he's walking and things like that. You think, oh, that's an interesting walk. You start with that. You start from things like that, and then And then overhearing stuff and just being awake to stuff rather than not being awake to stuff. I mean, it helps. And every time you get a script or you work on something, you're always going. To me, anyway, I think you're going. What about this person is like me? What do I understand about this person? What do I not understand? Where am I outside?
And does it matter? You don't have to understand. But you have to
come to an understanding, I suppose. I mean, because something might have happened to a character that's never happened to you, which could be an awful thing, or it could be a joyful thing, but it still has never happened to you. So you can't know exactly how it would make you feel. But that's what you work towards then. You try and, imagine. You use your imagination, what it might be like. But that's ultimately what you're doing. And ultimately, I think what you're trying to do is not sell, that's a terrible word, put across ideas, emotions, and to make people feel that they're not alone. I think that's what great art does, really. Essentially, now we're talking about it. I think that's really what it does, is it connects you, it makes you feel that there is a commonality, is that the right word? There is a connection. Anyway, connections that people do go through stuff. We're all completely unique, obviously, but we all have needs and joys and hates and fears and all this kind of stuff. And it's okay to have that, because that's what it is. C'est la vie. That sounds like an edit point. He said ruining the fucking... Oh, you ruined it. I'm going to have to loop that last bit of wild track there. That Atmos at the end, I'm going to have to put a loop on it. It'll never work. Damn you! That was my Sony award! I hate you! Anyway. Apart from that, you weren't recording all that, were you?
Yes.
You can't use it.
Yes.
You can if you want.
I can.